Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Live Show. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy Hanukkah. And I don't know if Kwanzaa's going on right now. I know everybody just started saying Kwanzaa too. How about Happy Holidays? Just throw everybody in there. Hope everybody's hanging out, kicking it with family, friends, drinking, eating, smoking, whatever you got to do to get right here as we've got 9 games on Thursday for the NBA. Can take a look at some of the football too. And be honest, I have had minimal time to look at the NFL. I've had minimal time to look at the NBA. So we're going to be doing this together somewhat more than we normally do. Sometimes I feel like I say that and I don't stick to it, but I really don't have nearly as many bets yet. I've got one that's on the card scrolling through right now. So if you are looking at the bottom line, as you guys will see that scroll coming throughout the show, that's going to be where you find the bets that you may have missed. We're going to let people jump in here, but I know we already got plenty of looks, and David's got a couple that you guys are bringing as well. So I want to start taking a look at some of them and say what's up to everybody. So glad to have y'all in here per usual. We had a bunch of people in here early, which I appreciate. Always got C-Biz and Youngin. Can take a look at Mark Williams for sure. What you got? Youngin's got Sengun there in that matchup without Dylan Brooks for the Rockettes. We'll take a look at some of that stuff. LaMelo. Yeah, LaMelo, we got to put a bet on LaMelo probably this. Brandon Miller is questionable. So we do have some guys that we still need to wait about what their injury stuff is. So I at least want to put that on your guys' radar as well, so that some of y'all know if we do get some information that comes in, what we're looking at here. So I'm pulling up the injury report. The ones that I care about the most. In fact, let me just pull this up real quick and put this down. I'm just going to share my notes real quick so I can just show you all the screen for the injury news that I want to keep an eye on, and you guys can help keep me honest as well. So let me start presenting my screen, and we're going to get right into it because I need y'all's help. But here are the injury news that we need to keep an eye on today, because this is going to impact a ton of the bets that we want to make. All right. So what we're looking at here, you can see real simply, Chicago, Washington. We need to know about Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller is going to impact what we do with LaMelo, to be honest with you. So if we can't get LaMelo news before the show, which we should be able to, or not LaMelo, Brandon Miller news, then it's tougher to bet on LaMelo at 30 points. This is Props Madness, and this is what I'll be using the whole show. But I should show you real quick. If we look at our boy LaMelo, it's a big difference between when he plays with and without Brandon Miller. I mean, these shots without B. Miller in the last couple right here, he took 18 against the Rockets. That was a tough matchup for him. And then against the Wizards without Miller, though, which is the matchup we got here, he took 32 shots the other night, right? And he had Miles Bridges alongside him. So all those shots, it's a ton of shots, man. But if I'm going to bet on LaMelo Ball to take 30 plus shots in a game again, I really need to know if Brandon Miller is going to be in or out. So if anybody gets that news, let me know and we'll go through that together. We'll be able to then go back through that stuff. For Miami, Orlando, we've only got Rozier questionable and Gary Harris questionable. So keep an eye on those two, por favor. I think Miles Turner's playing, but he's questionable. And I think he's a good bet here in this game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's a center who spots up. So that should be good news for guys scoring points, potentially getting rebounds, as OKC is a terrible rebounding team as well. And then all these dudes in Atlanta, Chicago. Now, Trey has been questionable like a lot. So I think Trey is a go, and we can bank on that. He's at 11.5 assists. I don't know that we should be scared of going over that against the Bulls, who give up the most assists per game to point guards, second most on the season overall. And so we'll look at Trey, and then Bogey, Io, and Giddey. I think Giddey, I actually have no idea, to be honest. And Io tweaked his ankle last game. The only guy I think does go here is Bogey. So I think Bogey and Trey are more likely to be in, but we need that news about all 4 of these homies right here for that Chicago-Atlanta game. So please keep us posted. I know David's doing his work as well to keep us honest there. And then Dame and Giannis, questionable. I don't know why you'd play them, bro. Like right here, if we just go into this injury report, this is the official injury report from the NBA. This is the team sending their news to the NBA, and then the NBA giving that to us. But if I go down to this Nets game, which, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I ain't betting on zero Nets. There are 0 Nets that I will be betting on, most likely the rest of this season. I don't know what you would have to give me for me to bet on one of these dudes who most of them don't belong in a starting lineup of an NBA team. So I don't know what you want me to do there. But for the Bucks, the reason I would not be worried about playing Giannis or Dame, you don't even have any, like, between Dorian Finney-Smith right here and Ben Simmons, one of those two is not playing tonight because they got a back-to-back. We talk about this all the time. You got to know who's playing tomorrow as well. I don't think that DFS looks like he's playing tonight. Ben Simmons probably not going to. And then we'll see Simmons play tomorrow and no Dorian Finney-Smith in that situation. Why would you play Dame and Giannis? I have no idea. You don't need to. I would imagine that they don't. And if they do play, there's zero chance I'm taking overs on them. So we just need that news that they're officially out so I can comfortably then bet on a few other Bucks players. I got to go back to Bobby, to be honest. And they're not giving us Bobby or Brolo or Chris Middleton. They're not giving us any of these props until we get Giannis and Dame. So don't give me any Giannis, or don't give me any Bucks or Nets props to look at until we know for sure about those two dudes, Giannis and Dame. Last one, Trey Murphy's questionable. I think he's going to be a go in this Pellies and Rockets game. And then Sabonis, I genuinely have no idea if he's going to play against Detroit tonight in Sacramento, but this is going to impact bets a ton, and we'll go over why. But keep me honest here, if y'all could, about all of these questionable tags, so we know if there's some other bets that we can make as a result of those. All right, let's get into the show, and I'll get into some of these plays that you guys are looking at. I did mention already that we've got Jalen Suggs. He's scrolling on the bottom line. I took him for the boards. So if you're looking at that and you're paying attention right now by listening, then you know that Jalen Suggs 5+ rebounds is plus money. We hit that last time. We're going right back to it. So that's scrolling on the bottom line for those of y'all that are looking for that stuff. All right, let's reminder that we are using Props Madness right here. And if you do want to get an account and don't yet have one, highly recommend it. It's the best for basketball. You're not going to find a better platform that has everything in one. You get 25% off if you use code LYB to jump in there. You're going to get things like the lines, obviously, but then more importantly, these advanced filters. We're going to be using this a lot during the show, so you can really start to see how does a dude perform against other similar teams to the ones that he's playing tonight. How does he do if the Wizards are terrible against limiting points in the paint? How does LaMelo Ball do when he plays against the bottom teams limiting points in the paint, right? Let's say the bottom like 8 or so. Well, in the 5 games that he's played against other teams that suck as much as the Wizards do at limiting stuff in the paint, he has gone over this number consistently. It's not just doesn't make us bet it, but it's a good sort of indicator and helps us lead us to the right spots. So LaMelo on the points, it's just volume, right? Because 30.5, I'm rarely going to bet on somebody over 30.5 points unless I am confident in them taking a ton of shots. And without Brandon Miller, I think we can bank on that. With Brandon Miller, it's just a little bit different. It's not like with Brandon Miller this season, if we do games with and without and we put B Miller in, it's not like he does that bad. He's still at 30.9 points per game with Brandon Miller this season, right? So he's still beating up on teams and taking a ton of shots when they're in the game. And I would imagine that they're going to be in the game against the Wizards. He just hasn't played them with Brandon Miller yet. He got 34. It's such a poo-poo game. I really don't know that we want to worry about it too much. But here's a look that I'm still, I think I might be putting in, and I'll talk about it with y'all and see what you guys think. I think Malcolm Brogdon is a good play in this game. If we look at him on the points or the points and assists, I think combining them is a really good look for him. Reason being, he's going to be the dude taking the most, not shots, but he's going to have the most potential assists on this team. You look at him against the Hornets last game, he put down 25, he had 6 dimes, and it was 8 for 13, but it's the 13 shots, 7 potential assists I'm good with. I could see him potentially passing a bit more against this team at times. So I like adding them both because I think the assists are really low, and I wouldn't even mind playing 4.5 by themselves against this awful Washington defense. I don't think I need to go into much more of it. And apologies to my boy Van Negro Jones, who's usually in here, who's the only Wizards fan that we have in the show, I would imagine, unless there's somebody else, in which case speak up. But yeah, this defense is terrible, so I'm not going to feel bad about dogging it. But I think Brogdon, I'm going to put him down as a lean for right now. David, do you mind putting that on the bottom line, por favor, as a lean there on the points and assists for Malcolm Brogdon? And it looks like right now the best number I could play is -115 on Bet365, but that is probably a play for me, to be honest. On the season, he's at 17. Let's see what it looks like without Kyle Kuzma.
What's the number for -115?
115 is on Bet365 at 17.5 points and assists combined. Points and assists combined. So, yeah, I kind of like adding the points and assists combined on there, but the points are also super low. Like, I think you get a bit of an edge on both of these props, 4.5 and like 13 or 12.5 points. I think you get an edge on both of those for Brogdon. So I'm putting them together, get an even bigger one, bigger edge there as well. So I'm not worried about where we're at on the season and the season numbers. This is a juicy matchup without Kuz. I think we might see Bilal Coulibaly sit out. Like, I'm not positive, but like he's actually good. And I don't know that they want players who are going to help them win out there. And Bilal is on the injury report right now. If we look at this Wizards game, it might even be actually way further up. Washington, yeah, we've got Bilal. Oh, no, he's available now. Okay, so that changed. All right. Well, I liked the idea that Bilal wasn't playing for those PA, but I think we're still good there for Malcolm Brogdon. I'm not going to go too much more into that one because we got a lot more to look at, and I know I like that one. So I'm going to put that as a lean. Haven't played it just yet, but that's going to be scrolling on the bottom line for you guys as well. We're going to take 17.5 PA for Brogdon on the over. -115, also now available on DraftKings, BetMGM. So, yeah, I guess we want that the best number. I haven't put it in yet, but -115 looks like the best number right now. Might even be going up, to be honest. So it might be worth hitting at that number. I am worried about going up a little bit, but let's put a pause in that one and come back to a couple of others. So let's. I don't know if anybody else has anything for this game besides LaMelo or like Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is probably a safe over on the points. We took him last game against this doo-doo team, even with Malcolm Brogdon in, which he is tonight. I don't know why I liked it more last game than I do this game, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna pass on that one for right now on the Jordan Poole. Probably some better looks. Let's see about this Thunder and Pacers game. The look I was considering for a minute. Sorry, I know a lot of y'all are talking about Mark Williams as well. I see that coming up a lot right now, Mark Williams on the PR. So I will take a look at it because we got a lot of looks coming in on Mark Williams. If anybody has a strong reason for why they like Mark Williams, I'd love to hear it. I don't like betting on these centers at this point. In this last game versus the 76ers, he played 17 minutes. How many did Richards play? He played 15. Like, I don't even know what they're doing with this starting lineup between these two guys. That's why I don't know that Mark Williams is necessarily a better play than Mark Richards or vice versa, Nick Richards or vice versa. So Nick Williams, Mark Richards, whatever you want to call these two bros, I don't know that I like playing either of them. Now they play the Rockets. My bad. I had this. I had a filter on where I had with Brandon Miller. So let me go back to Mark Williams here. They just played the Rockets. He's been getting a few more. So 19 though, right? And then when we look at Nick Richards, it was what? Same amount of minutes, 13. Man, they are phasing Richards out, it looks like. So maybe that's what some of y'all are looking at here with Mark Williams, is that they're phasing him out a little bit more in terms of the playing time. They want Mark Williams in there more than they want Nick Richards. I don't have anything to show me that proof, though. And I know y'all want to take centers against the Wizards because the Wizards are terrible against centers. I'm pretty sure that's what you're looking at too. If I pull up FanDuel Fantasy Pros to see how different teams defend positions specifically, I'm hyper confident that the Wizards, give up the most points and most points and rebounds to the center. So the question becomes, do you like Mark more than you like Nick Richards in this game? I would imagine so. It seems like he's playing a bit more. I'm just going to do this real quick. Mark Williams, Charles Lee, and see if there's any news that's telling me that Mark Williams is supposed to get a few more minutes or something. So let me do this for the last 24 hours and see if anything came. Not really. Let's do the last.
I think that's what I saw on Twitter, Josh, is like if you get a minimum of, I want to say 19 or 20 minutes, the hit rate is
right for Mark
high.
Williams. Right. Yeah, and he's playing a doo-doo squad for sure. Exactly. So I appreciate the look. Let me see real quick. So on the season, I know he's at 7 boards, but yeah, he hasn't even played that many games. So even if we do the minutes, it's still going to be, he's maxed out at 19 minutes this season. So what do we say? 15 plus minutes probably is what would be the filter for him. Which is 4 games. In the 4 games, he's played 15. Yep, he did well, other than this 17 minutes against, was JoJo in that? I think Joel played part of that game too against the Hornets and was diming up and all that. So, but yeah, against this squad, this is just the board. So if we're looking at the PR, which is what keeps being brought my way, then we're looking at 18.5, could even get 17.5 on 365. That's probably going up. Does Pinnacle have a points number for him? Pinnacle has them at 10.5, but they have it at -115 on both sides. And Pinnacle does no, and they have 7.5 plus 116. So they don't like the boards as much as these other books like the boards for Mark Williams. I'm seeing what you're saying. So 15 minutes, if you can project him for 15 minutes tonight, you should be able to project him for about, let's go to the PR at least. So 17.5 would be 10 points and 8 boards, or 11 points and 7 boards. So I'd rather, I think the 17.5 gives you that edge way more than the 18.5, obviously. And that would be the point of combining it to get to 17.5, is you get a little bit of a bump on both sides. So I see it. And this team sucks against centers. I don't know why Mark Williams would play less at this point. That's the only thing, is Charles Lee going to go with Mark? It's a bit of a gamble, but let's put that on the bottom line for right now. 17.5 PR for Mark Williams, -120. I get, if he gets minutes against this team, then there's no reason for me to think that he shouldn't do well on both the boards and the points. So I see that. We'll put the 17.5 on the bottom line, -120. Let's throw that in as a lean for right now as well. Let me see real quick. I'm going to get this up. Let me do it like this real quick. Josh's card is going to come after Josh's lean. Let's do it that way. All right, so we got Brogdon, PA over, and we're going to add Mark Williams over 17.5. PR is minus 115 on, or excuse me, minus 120 on Bet365. All right, if y'all can get that in. All right, keep it moving. Yeah, and I think it was Stan that just brought up wanting to see Sar as well. Sar just got ruled in, right? He's good to go. Let's see.
Yeah, rebounds, I think specifically
For Sar. Got you. Against the Hornets, not the worst rebounding team in the world. He is up to 11.5 points. He's been balling, obviously. The Rebs are up at 6.5. So people, yeah, I mean, I don't love it. Easy cash. 6.5 minus 130. Why are the boards such an easy cash? I want to know. That's the only thing. So what are we saying? Like minutes for him as well, probably. Has he been playing more minutes? It's 33, 33, 28. Let's put him at 28 plus minutes. It's probably been a lot recently. The minutes don't necessarily equate to the boards, honestly. And the Hornets are not the worst. They're 11th in terms of limiting rebounds to the opponent. So that's not how I would be necessarily attacking the Hornets against them, is like who can get the rebounds. If you look at the play type here for him, mostly doing it off the spot up still. Yeah, I don't love it. Be real. I don't love the SAR look. Free Sauce is bringing up the threes for our guy. How many has he been taking? 6 of them, 6 of them, 6 of them, 6 of them, 5 of them, 4 of them. Yeah, and then, but this has been as of late. So let's see. Over the last like bunch of games, he's gone 7-3. It's a 6 threes, 6 threes, 6, 4, yeah, and then a bunch of 2s and 1s. So it's about the attempts. He did take 6 against this team last game. Where is he? He's taken them, mostly above the break, as you can see here. 28% of his points coming from above the break, which is where this team sucks. I could see that as well. But let me move on to a slightly different game here for a minute, and then we'll see if there's anything worth coming back to. Keep me posted on the Brandon Miller news. Appreciate it for real. Oh man, don't make me answer that. What's up, bro? Appreciate you saying that too. Quick question: if you only do one yearly Props Madness or Outlier? Well, the thing is, I mean, Props Madness, I believe, is cheaper. The thing is going to be, do you need football, right? Do you need NFL? Do you need other sports? Props Madness, if you're doing NBA or WNBA, it's not even a question to me. This is the one. If you need a platform that's a one-stop shop for NFL and NBA, and you think it's worth it, the price, then I think Outlier, you need to make sure you get that for the NFL. But if you're using it for the NBA, man, like it's not even close. This is the one. So I would definitely recommend that. Use that code LYB too if you do want to sign up for it. You just get everything in one-stop shop. It's not just the recent numbers. You get to filter things way more easily, and then you also get the play type analysis down here, so you could see how does a defense perform against a specific play type. This is huge, right? Like spot up shooters or pick and roll ball handler, or like pull-up shooters, spot-up shooters. Are they good in transition? Whatever. This is going to be so helpful. And obviously the season shot chart. If a dude is taking most of his shots from the corners, probably going to do pretty well against this Hornets team, because that's where they give up a ton of points. One of the corners, they're best. I don't really know there's much of a difference between the corners, but you get what I'm saying. So I would definitely recommend this, but that's a good question. If any of y'all have questions about stuff like that, definitely throw it in the chat. Happy to do that. But well, shit, if Dav said that Mark Williams was a go, y'all, I mean, I'm not even being funny. Like if he found something on it, I see it. So I'm with it. Let's look at this OKC and Pacers game. So if y'all have anything in there for OKC and the Pacers, let me know. I'm going through some of the stuff that David was looking at. Twitch came in with Halliburton best spot at home against OKC that they beat last year at the home, being underdog. Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at I know Tally's been playing a lot better lately. We'll take a look at that. Let's see if there's anything I'm missing from this game real quick. All right. Yeah. So let's, for this one, I was looking at Miles Turner. Let me at least pull up a couple of things here. Like what I'm looking for against the Thunder is going to be spot up shooting more than anything. If we look at, let's just take Nemhard for a minute. If we look at play type stuff here, OKC 22nd versus the spot up, but they're pretty much good everywhere else. They foul and they give up spot up shooting because they overpressure the ball, and that forces the ball into the corners. You can see right here, I'm looking at the OKC defensive season shot chart right here, and I'm looking at how in the corners they're giving up the third most on this corner, 13th against this corner. But overall, corner threes are going to be a really good spot for them. Thank you. That's huge. So Miles Turner is going to be in. I do think Miles Turner's probably a pretty good play. I think Free Sauce was on that as well, but I was drawn to his stuff earlier. Miles Turner doing a lot off the spot up, and he's a center. Rebounds would be good. He's not a very good rebounding center, so it makes me nervous to take it. But against a team like OKC, he definitely has a pretty good history as well. So he's not shooting from the corners. He's definitely shooting up top more, but it is the spot up that makes me like it for him. He's got good numbers against this team, but there isn't that much more that's really drawing me to it. So if we look at head-to-head last year, different team on both sides, but he did do pretty well at the end of the year when both these teams kind of had the current iterations of themselves. He was still doing well. 6 for 11. Had to go 2 for 3 from deep, though. And 11, like it's same numbers in both games, playing about 30 minutes. Actually, this one he only played 18 and still took 11 shots. God damn. Missing Benny Matz at that point in the season. I don't know. That's where I start in terms of what I think, spot up shooters against OKC. Who do I see spotting up a lot for the Pacers? It is a lot of Miles Turner. I don't know who else is actually even taken. Let me just look up catch and shoot real quick for this team. I just want to see how they're doing. So I'm going to go to NBA Advanced Stats for a minute. I'm going to pull up players, and I'm going to go to tracking. And I'm going to pull up catch and shoot because I want to know who's doing the most catch and shoot for the Pacers. So I'm filtering this to just be Indy. So now I'm looking at the Indiana Pacers players and their catch and shoot data to see who does this the most, right? So field goal attempts, it is Turner. This is what I was looking at, right? Miles Turner is the number one catch and shoot guy for this team, making 2.5, getting about 7 points per game off the catch and shoot. This is going to be how you beat the what team we're talking about, the Oklahoma City Thunder. If I pull up the exact same thing, but I'm looking at teams and how opponents do shooting wise against them, I can look at just do teams do well against them on the catch and shoot or the spot up. So you can see here, if y'all are trying to do this for yourselves, you go to NBA Advanced Stats, teams, opponent shooting, general, and then I'm going to do catch and shoot over here. And with catch and shoot stuff, if I look at who's given up the highest frequency, it's OKC. They have the highest frequency of catch and shoot attempts against them this season, right? Which has led to a decent amount of makes. They're pretty good defense. So it's still going to be a pretty good field goals made against them number here, but we know that this is how you beat them. So that's what draws me to Miles Turner. I fucking hate betting on Miles Turner, to be honest with you. I thought he was a good bet last game against the Dubs, and I still didn't want to bet on him. So do with that what you will. This is a personal thing for me. I feel like I've never had him succeed when I bet on him, and so I just hate it, and I have this negative stigma against him. But that's not a reason not to bet him. If you don't have that negative stigma, then I think Miles is a good look in this one. I'm not putting him on my card. Thank you for that, though. This was one of our key injury notices was the Tyler Hero. What do we think about him? Tyler Hero for the Heat. It was Terry Rozier. So now we know Terry's going to be playing. We can maybe take a look at that since we know Jimmy's going to be out. I'll come back to that in a minute. Let's see if there's anything else in this one. I'm not as excited to bet on this game, to be honest. I would not be going under for SGA. I saw that brought up a minute ago as well. I'd be betting Miles for the points. The catch and shoot stuff would be the points for him. I hate betting on him. As Street Cred likes to say, he big for nothing, because he really is big for nothing. Soft as baby poo. Sweet. Brandon Miller, game time decision. Thank you so fucking much, Charlotte Hornets, and helping us bet on him. Let's see real quick. And it's the same concept. Miles I would be there for the rebounds too, 7.5 plus money. It's just, I have to reach. There's no edge, right? I know it might seem like a good bet because this team is bad. The Thunder are bad at limiting centers rebounds. I get that. Let's see where they're at these days against the rebounds. So they're giving up like the 6th most rebounds per game to the center position are the Thunder. So it's a good bet but like, do you really want to bet on Miles Turner to get rebounds? Honestly, like what are his rebound chances even at? So he had 14 rebound chances against the Dubs, pulled down 10 because they suck at rebounding. But Isaiah Hartenstein is still a better rebounder than anybody on the Dubs, to be honest. So I wouldn't really just love that bet. Yeah, I'm not feeling much on that one. I saw a look for SGA on the under for his points. That's actually not quite what I'd be looking at. If you look at the Pacers, actually, you know what? They might not be as good as they were last year. Last year for the Pacers, what was the play was going point guard over on points and under on assists. This year, I don't know if it's the same. So this year for points, Indy is better. Yeah. So they're more middle of the pack in terms of limiting points to the point guard position or the primary ball handler, which is what we call SGA. And then on the dimes last year, they were like limiting them to like the fewest. But now if you look at it this year, it's much different. So it's actually not quite what it was last year. Can't really use last year's data, but look at last season because they don't double. That's the key thing here for the Pacers is they don't double the ball handler. So they limit the catch and shoot and then they give up a lot off the pull-up, which is what SGA does, is the pull-up. But this year it is a little different. Now, last year you can see to point guards, they gave up the where was the point? My bad. Some of the most, third most points to point guards last season. And on the dimes, they gave up the sixth fewest assists, right? So second most points, sixth fewest assists. This was a great look last year, but this year it's not the same. And that's for point guards, I should be saying, my bad. For point guards, still the same concept. So I don't quite know what to do with them this year. It was a little different, but I wouldn't be going under for SGA. Did he go under against them last year? Let me look real quick. Yeah, he went under. He had 30 in the one game they played, 12 for 27. Who was missing in that game too? Had a bad game, and J-Dub was missing from that game. So yeah, that wasn't a great showing from him, but that doesn't lead me to want to necessarily just go under. They also don't have Aaron Nesmith healthy. That was the primary defender on SGA last season. So David, did anything stand out to you from this game that people were bringing for the Thunder or the Pacers?
We had one interesting look about should you look at laddering Halliburton's threes based on performance last year? And basically, I guess they covered as a home dog last year in OKC, and I think Halliburton went off. But then there's other folks in the chat that are asking if they should go under on threes. So
for Hallie,
yeah. So just curious what your take is on threes.
Yeah. Interesting point. I mean, this is a really good 3-point defense. That's for damn sure, right? I just want to see overall 3-point against. So I'm just going to go to teams, general. I'm going to go to opponent real quick. I just want to see what their 3-point defense has been like in general. 3-pointer attempts against OKC, not in the top 10. You can get threes up against them. They are 20th in terms of 3-point attempts against them. How about 3-point makes? Middle of the pack. Am I just not seeing OKC? Wow, they're fourth best limiting the 3-point make, even though teams are taking so many threes against them. So I'm guessing they've got the number 1 3-point percentage defense. So they're not allowing easy shots from three. It's tough to get those threes up against them. If we know that the catch and shoot three is going to be a lot more likely to hit against them. I'll just go back to what I was just on, which was the player stuff, team. This is over here. So team's opponent shooting right here. We can see they're giving up the highest frequency of catch and shoot shots. What about highest frequency? Yeah. And 3-point catch and shoot shots, which is why teams are making a good amount of catch and shoot threes against them. But Halliburton's not really doing the catch and shoot, right? Now, let me pull that up for Indy. Tracking. This is Indy right here. Yeah, Halliburton is only taking 2.5 catch and shoot shots per game. Off the three, yeah, they're basically all threes. He's only taking 2.5 catch and shoot threes, and it's very tough to get anything off the pull-up, which is normally what he's doing for his 3-point shots. So that's a little bit scary to take the over on the threes. I would probably be going on the under as well. I think if for those of you feeling the under, I mean, under 3.5 is not going to get you much in the juice, but yeah, what did he do in the points against them last year? Head-to-head for Hallie, he had 18 and 8. So he had 18 points off of no threes against them last year. The reason I'm bringing that up is what could be interesting is Halliburton under threes over points could be that's going to get you a lot of negative correlation juice right there. So if you hit Halliburton to go over 16.5 points. Let's see how many times he's done that this season, where he's had 16.5 points. And this is where you use these advanced filters. So I'm going to advanced filters. I'm taking the 3-pointers made prop. I'm going 3P is just how many makes did he have from three. If he makes less than 4 threes, so 0 to 3 3-pointers, how many times has he gotten 17 points? 5 of 16, not very often. He really does need to hit 3 threes to get his. But I'm sorry. He could still get there if he hits 3 threes. Let's say he hits 2 to 3 threes, right? Then we can still go under 3.5 threes made, but we can take over on the points. Still only done that. Maybe you just take this. I mean, this could be, honestly, I might be hitting this as a little negative correlation bet. I know he's hot on the threes, but how many times, first of all, has he even made 4 threes this season? Let's see that. Run and tell that. 4 threes made. He's done that about 12 times this year. Not bad. So I guess he's doing better than I give him credit for. But let's see. If he gets 0 to 3 threes, Maybe we just need him to get 15 points and we could do that. So let's go to 14.5. So this is a better hit rate. So this is all the times that he has hit less than 4 threes this season, but he's still gotten 15 points. Very interesting. Yeah, okay. That's what I figured. I kind of figured Brandon Miller was going to play. Thank you for that update, David, and everybody that's throwing it out there. I appreciate y'all. Brandon Miller in. It's not going to be a over points play for me for LaMelo Ball at 30.5. Like probably more likely he's taking like 25, 26 shots. It's a lot of shots. Not very efficient. I'm out on that one for this one. I think though, if we do something like this on either FanDuel, let's start with DraftKings because I know we have some good numbers there. I think we can get a pretty good number. And if you want to take it, like, I don't know if I'm going to play this or not, but here's how I'm looking at this just to help you guys understand. If you are taking a same game parlay where you bet on 2 things that are negatively related, right? So Tyrese Halliburton going over on his points, but under on his threes is very, very hard to do because you'd think you would need to make threes to get points. But if I do the opposite, so I take points and I take over for him, let's do, where's Tyrese at? Tyrese Halliburton points. Let's take 15 plus points for him and go under on the 4 threes. 4 threes right here. Let's see if we can go under on that for him. Where are you at, Tyrese? So this I got to take over, but let's see if I do the over under for him on the threes. I can go under 3.5, and that's going to get me plus 240. Right, for something that's minus 154 and the 15 plus was minus 210. Normally you parlay those together, you're probably going to get closer to like plus 200, even maybe a little worse. We're getting a little bit of juice extra on this to get us to plus 242 because we've got the negative correlation there. So I think that might be interesting. Interesting. That's one way to look at that, but that's one consideration. I don't like over 3.5 threes. To answer the question directly, do not like that. Not sure what Mike was talking about there, so I don't know how to read that statement, David. But if there's something there, I'm happy to look at what Mike was talking about. And also, Mike's the man. So if y'all don't know that, our guy is in the free part of the Discord as well with his own channel as a guest capper in there. So appreciate that. Yeah, I think Hallie, I'm off that on the threes. I think that could be interesting at 15 plus points under 4 threes. I think that's pretty possible. He's done that very consistently this season. So that's a nice little negative correlation. I would consider that one really, really, really strongly. Yeah, Hallie Brick. He's not my favorite player. So wealth, success. I might agree with you on Hallie Brick there. Let's see. So, okay, Shoto brought up PR for Isaiah Hartenstein. Let's look at this real quick. I'm probably not going to have much for that Orlando game other than the bet I put in because they're playing the Heat. For those of y'all that know, we don't fuck with the Heat here. As I get into this stuff for Shoto, appreciate having you around, bro. Always a good contributor to the show, too, by the way. Go ahead and give that video a like. Much appreciated on YouTube and Twitter. And go ahead and check out the description of the video. I should have brought this up, but now that we have everybody in here, let me let y'all know that if you do want to jump in the VIP, we swept last night. So I do have a little giveaway going, a discount if you do want to get into the VIP for 50% off your first month. Go ahead and use code SWEEP when you sign up. You can see at the bottom there, wap.com/land-your-bets. If you do want to jump in there, nice little sweep, little Christmas sweep. Jaylen Brown gave us the Christmas Day miracle as he hit that 3 at the end. So we got over on his points. Tatum, easy cash in the early third. And LeBron had 19 points at the half because he loves killing the dubs. So we just blindly bet on LeBron points when he plays the Warriors. Keep that in mind. Some injury news coming in too. Io's out. Giddey is out. Okay, we can do something with that. Let's look at that Hawks game. I'll look at Hartenstein real quick and just let y'all know. Yeah, like I said, if you do want to jump in the VIP, there you go. You got the 50% off code SWEEP. I got 5 of those codes for y'all if you do want to jump in. That is the only code that's live to date. So leave that up for you. And Matas is ruled out. All right, cool. Let's just real quick look at iHeart 12.5. You like the PR, Shoto, right? So if you look at the PR, it's 20. Whoo, getting up there, y'all. 25.5. This bitch was like 21.5 like a week ago, 22.5. So you are not paying yesterday's price no more. You are paying today's price. And today's price has gone up for Isaiah Hartenstein and the bets that we might want to make on him. He's still over a 9 of 14 this season. It's kind of like this has been too low for a while. Maybe we can still get some value. How would I find that for the Pacers? Well, Pacers suck. Let's start there. I hate their defense. It's been better as of late, but if we're looking at, let's go back to this season. I'm just starting with, is there any, what do they do against centers? Let's just start there. For Indy, in terms of the points, they are giving up a ton of points, like 8th most points per game to the center position. As far as the boards, maybe a little better, but still not great, right? Middle of the pack for Indy. Yeah, so they're more middle of the pack. The thing that scares me about rebounds for centers against them is Miles Turner's threes. We know Miles Turner be taking threes. How are they limiting center threes? Yeah. It's another reason I don't love Miles Turner, by the way, today, is that this team is still very, very, very good limiting threes. Miles Turner needs to hit 2 threes usually to get his points, but I digress. As far as the way that OKC plays them, or excuse me, Indy plays them, yeah, it's not going to be good. Plus Oklahoma City, look at that. I didn't even bring this up to you guys. OKC limiting centers to the fewest points per game. Miles, not a traditional center, but that's not a great look either, right? Even though they're giving up, oh, that's not centers. I'm an idiot. My bad. Second fewest. Still really good. Second fewest points per game to centers, excuse me. So this is a bad bet for Miles, honestly. I'm glad I stayed away at this point. But for Indy, middle of the pack rebounds on the points, I'm not really sure how to find the edge here, man, because I do think he'll be playing the minutes, but I really don't know how to cap that at this point. He's going to be playing with all the same guys that he's been playing with. There's no real edge. He's at 25.5 now. I think the edge is really gone. Hopefully you guys are using Betting Pros as well. This is linked in the description of the video. I should just start calling this stringerbell.com. Stringerbell.com, also known as Betting Pros, because this is how we find out that yesterday's price is not today's price, right? So looking at Isaiah Hartenstein, pulling him up and looking at what I want to look at here. I'm pulling up his points and rebounds, right? So you can see I've got the points and rebounds. Where did I select those? Where'd they go? Yeah. So you can see I got the points and rebounds selected right here. I'm just going to scroll down to his game log. And what I can see is what was his prop line, right? And look at how yesterday's price has gone up, right? So 21.5 against the Thunder, 22.5 against Miami, even 23.5 against the lowly poo-poo Wizards. But most of the time it's 23.5 or lower for him this season when he's gotten his props. So getting all the way up to 25.5 is the highest number that we've now seen given for him, meaning that we're buying high. You know, I don't like buying high. That's really what it is for me with him. So 24.5, maybe there's a little bit of an edge, but even the books don't know what to do with this. You see minus 115 on both sides for him. That means the books they don't know what to do either. They're just trying to make it even price on both sides of the bet to just make as much of the VIG as they can. If none of that, what I just said makes sense to you, ask me to repeat what I just said and explain it to you, because this is very, very important. The house and how much money they're going to hold, no matter what happens, is very important to knowing if you should take a bet. Anytime you see over, under, even on both sides, like the same price for both sides, it's indicating to me that I might need to be cautious about making a bet, just because the books are really not sure either. There's no edge either way. So like I said, let me know if that doesn't make sense to you. But let's go to this Bulls and Hawks game. I should mention real quick, I do have a bet in Heat and Magic. If you're interested, we're going right back to the Jalen Suggs boards. I took him for 5+. You can see over 4.5 or 5+ is going to be nice plus money for him. I believe on Bet365. Yeah, it's plus 125 now still on Bet365. I hit this at plus 125 for Jalen Suggs to get 5 boards. It's really simple. When he plays without Franz and Paolo, even if Mo Wagner was still healthy, I'd probably still take, I know I would because I did earlier, but when I take Paolo and Franz out, you can see he's only gone under 5 in one of these games. And it's not just them being out, it's them not being on the floor the whole time, right? And when he's been on the floor without Paolo and without Franz this season, I showed you all this last show, but for those of y'all that missed it, this is Fantasy Labs. It's the first time I'm bringing it up, even though you guys know this is my baby, because this shows me on off court, not just entire games, right? If on Props Madness, I'm looking at this going, okay, so Franz and Paolo missed the entire game. How has he done when they've missed the entire game? This is showing me, not regardless of if they play some of the game or none of the game, how does he do when he's on court, Jalen Suggs, without Franz and without Paolo? So I'm putting Jalen Suggs on court. Off court, I'm putting Franz and Paolo, and I'm going to take off Mo because I know Mo Wagner, Moritz is not going to play in this game either. So I'm pulling that up, and this is showing me how he does when he's on the floor, Suggs, without any of the Wagners or Paolo. He's played 141 minutes this season without either any of those 3 guys on the court. He's getting 7 rebounds per Sorry, I shouldn't have done that. He's getting 7 rebounds per 36 minutes. He's playing 36 minutes, right? That's what he's been playing. As long as this game is even a little bit close and he's healthy. We only played 29 against the Celtics because he was still a bit hurt. I think he's still getting healthier. 17 against the Thunder because he got hurt in that game, and he still had the 5 boards in 17 minutes. So you see what I'm saying, right? If he plays 36, he should be good for 6 to 7 boards in this game. I definitely recommend using this. It's linked in the description of the video. This way you can see if a guy's out, how does this guy play with or without him, not just for the entirety of a game, right? So this is really helpful for Suggs. I think this is a great number for him at 5+. And that's where I end my talk of this game because, as you know, I do not touch the Heat because they're just so inconsistent and unreliable. I know that homie Jimmy Buckets is out. So actually, now that I'm saying that, I might go against my word because I wanted to look at Terry because he's only at 10.5 points. And I know he's not in the starting lineup. And I know he's kind of been kicked out of the rotation. Like, he's not as important to the rotation. But look at this last game without Jimmy. He still played 33 minutes. And we know Jimmy's out now. So let's take Jimmy out and see what Terry's done this season. Still not those great numbers, Terry. They're still not just playing him because Jimmy's out. So tough to see. I know he was a little bit banged up, and he did miss time from November to December. And then he's just come back. But yeah, and then he missed time too. Let's see real quick. He missed a little bit of time. I don't know. Yeah, I really want to bet on Terry, but I guess I can't trust the minutes. Like, I know if he gets enough minutes, he's going to get over 10.5 points, especially without Jimmy Butler. Let's do this with Terry real quick and see if there's anything here for him. And then I promise I'm never betting on the Miami Heat again. David, anything from this game too, while I'm looking this up, that I should be aware of that you're like, wait, maybe you should look at this for Miami, Orlando?
Two things.
Yeah.
Some folks are asking about Goga, so I guess I'm just curious, like, why are you not looking at Goga tonight?
I know.
And then the look that I think is interesting is Tyler Hero. We know Butler's out. Hero seems like he's getting more minutes and maybe some more confidence from the organization.
Yeah, it's true.
Still on your no bet list.
Yeah, whether or not the Heat want Tyler Hero to be the future of their franchise. Right? Like, yeah, sorry. That's what's happening. Now it's the rotations that I can't trust. I know that Tyler and Bam are going to play. It's like everybody else that I just don't know about. Let me start with Terry and just do him on the floor with these two, Tyler Hero and Bam. Looking at them on court. Let me, no, stop. My bad. Stand by. All right. And now let me take Jimmy and put him off court real quick. I'm just going to start with this for Terry. I'll put Hero on the floor and see what that does. So these three have played 213 minutes this season without Jimmy Butler. Per 36 minutes, Bam is looking at 9 and 4 in terms of the rebounds and the assists. Terry is looking at about 11 points. Yeah, still not really getting much. And then Tyler Hero's at 28 points per 36. So this would tell you that you should be betting on Tyler Hero way before you're betting on Terry Rozier points. I will say that. Even without Jimmy in general this season, when Jimmy's off court, Tyler Hero's played 337 minutes, and he's looking at about 25 points per 36. What's his number at? 23.5. So he's about on the cusp of where you'd expect him. We're talking about a really good Orlando Magic defense. He just had 22 without Jimmy against them in 38 minutes. That's not really helpful, or doesn't really make me want to bet the over for Tyler. I also just don't like betting on Tyler. So let me just not go against what I was saying and go over to Goga, because I'll always look at Goga, even if I don't think there's a bet there. Why would I not go for Goga is the question, right? Because, oh, wow. 8.5 on DK, even for minus 140? God damn it. Just when I think I'm out, suck me right back in to the Goga. Oh my God, I love Goga Bitadze so much, dude. You're tugging at my heartstrings, dude. You knew I was gonna have to look at Goga. Why the fuck is this at 8.5, dude? And
I looked at it earlier today, and it was, I want to say it was like 10.5.
Yeah. So let's start with looking at ETR. I'm pretty sure y'all are familiar with Establish the Run. Establish the Run is going to be a projections website. This is all behind a paywall. So it's not something that everyone's going to want to access because it is like $350 for the season. But if I go to NBA and I go to full projection detail, every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, Establish the Run puts out their own projections. Those projections are so widely respected by people doing what I'm doing and what y'all are doing, and in general, the books themselves will move lines when they see the projections come out for this. So you can see they've got a projection for minutes, points, assists, rebounds, threes, turnovers, steals, blocks for every single player that's going to be playing today. So I want to see for Goga what they did. What did they do to my beloved Goga? They put him at 8.9 boards. So that would be where that drop is probably coming from. And I think you're right, David, that it was like 10 and a half. Yeah, it was. I know it was 10 and a half because I looked at it and I was like, oh man, we're getting out of the zone of Goga rebounds. I don't quite understand let's put it this way. They have him at 26.5 minutes. Let's filter this on, and I've got this with, obviously you can see without Franz and Paolo, he's gotten at least 9 boards every single game, even when he got tossed after 21 minutes against the Celtics. And he had 13 rebound chances, 9 boards. That was with a whole quarter left to play. Pretty sure our boy was going to get 10 if he played the whole game. So
the matchup would be Adebayo, right? It's not advantageous?
No, it's actually fine. What's really weird about the Heat this season is that they're giving up the 3rd most rebounds to centers. I happen to know Prop Bomb likes the under on Bam's rebounds as well at 10.5. So if Bam's rebounds are at 9.5, it's because Prop Bomb pushed it down to 9.5, by the way. But no, this is not a disadvantageous matchup at all for Goga this season. This is not a great rebounding team for the Heat in general. They are 25th in rebounds allowed, 3rd most to the center. God, I have no clue why this is I don't really understand why the ETR guys projected him as such is really where I'm starting. Let me look at this on FanDuel.
The only thing I can think of is he was limping towards the end of the game the other night. It's like, is there some
against the Celtics?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just before he got thrown out after whatever that happened with.
Yeah, he's not even on the injury report though.
No, I just mean that's all I mean. He was just limping. I wonder if there's some underlying thing that maybe.
Well, I just think they would put him on the injury report though. If even if they were just like hobbled or something, they would indicate that he wasn't a full go, or somebody would report that he wasn't full participant at shoot around or something. Like they would give us some indication unless they want to get fined. Because they wouldn't be able to play him if they would have to play him essentially or explain why he wasn't a scratch until the 5 minutes before the game. So we look at boards here. 9+ gets you -150, but over 8.5 will get you -140. Wow. Now I have to wonder how I should play this. Because I would love to just play 8.5 and then feel really good about it. 9.5 is going to get us on this site is going to get us even money, and you actually get better for over 9.5 on FanDuel, +108. And then I think some of the 9.5s are probably better on other play. Okay, yeah. So no, actually, the +108 on FanDuel is a really, really good number. Yeah, that's true. But Tatum, the illness is what got them, right? If he didn't play because of an illness and they can prove that he had an illness, then Tatum is good to go. But that's a really good point, Mike, that why was that legal? Well, there's a lot of the Wild West going on with these injury reports for the fucking NBA these days. But all right, I got to do it. So let's do Goga over 9.5, +108 on FanDuel. I think that's got to be a play. So we can put that on the bottom line. There's no, until something happens, Goga loses a leg, or I don't know, one of his hands gets blown off by a firework or something. Until that happens and Goga has 2 hands and 2 legs, probably going to take him to get over 9.5 boards, especially in a good matchup. So I'm just going to skip the 8.5. I'm going to go to over 9.5. Let's throw that on the bottom line, if you would, David. Over 9.5 rebounds for Goga Bitadze. And I'm going to take that +109 on FanDuel, and I'm going to get that in right now. All right. Yeah. Look, what do you want? What do you want from me? It's Goga Bitadze, and you're giving I don't care, because this is the last thing, and then I'm just betting it. But the other thing is if we look at Goga this season, even with these dudes, and we give him 20, they put him at 26 minutes, right? Look at this. In 26 minutes, he's still averaging 10.5 boards this season, and this is not a good rebounding team for Miami. So I'm very happy with Goga. Over 9.5 rebounds, +108 on FanDuel. I'm going to do that right now. Let me know if you've got that on the bottom line for me, David, as well.
Sorry, I locked it in for myself first.
Oh no! Hey, you got to do what you got to do. I love it. Over 9.5 rebs, and I promise we're going to get a few more of these games. +108 on FD. Go with a unit on that. All right. I think that's playable to -110. All right. Goga's added to the card. Goga. Let's see. We're still on Promise Madness. All right, so I can probably move away from this game for a bit and see about this Hawks and Bulls game because I think that we got some stuff here. So, there was a couple. So we got Giddy in, and we've got Io out, right? Or is Giddy also out? Yeah. So Giddy and Io are out, and now we've got a lot of people asking about Kobe White against a terrible Hawks sort of perimeter. And then we got to look at Zach LaVine, I suppose. But yeah, the thing here is going to be that one of these dudes is going to get the Dyson Daniels matchup. That's what it comes down to, right? And I got to imagine that's going to be Zach LaVine because he's got the height. And so on Kobe White, you're going to have, it's not going to be Trey, right? I don't think they're going to start Trey on Kobe, but they might have a choice. I guess Risa Shea. Yeah, it'll be Risa Shea on Kobe. What happened last time these two teams played? Let's go to Kobe real quick. Because I think Kobe is where I'm looking as well. Now, against the Bulls, you can kind of get whatever you want. The pick and roll ball handler, they're giving up the most points per game. That's a little bit more Zach LaVine. The spot up, they're still giving up like the 7th, 8th most points per game. This team sucks on defense. I think we all know that. We've got no Giddy and no Io. So let's do this. Let's go to Chicago Bulls and start looking at what stands out. And this is something, this is why I do like when players don't play. When we get players who don't play, then we got to go, yeah, you're right, Marv. Dyson going to be on Zach. When we get players who don't play, then we know that we've got some potential advantages. We've got some edges over the books at this point because they probably aren't pricing the backups really well. So we're going to take on court. We're going to put Kobe. We're going to put Vooch. We're going to put Zach LaVine. Zach, and then we're going to hit select, and then off court, we're going to move Io off court, and we're going to move Josh Giddey off court. Lonzo's also not playing this game, by the way. I believe he's got an illness. Taylor Horton Tucker is somebody that's probably going to get some more minutes if anybody's interested in the THT over. I personally am not, but if you are, go for it. All right, look at it. This is what stands like right now. So this is per 36 minutes. So it's not saying that Kobe White is averaging 34.7 points per game without Giddy, Dosunmu, or Ball. It means that when he's on the floor this season without those three guys and with LaVine and Vooch, who he's going to be on the floor a lot with, he's at 34 points per 36 minutes, which is damn near a point a minute, right? So if he's at basically a point a minute, let's say he's at 0.9 points per minute. If we do 0.9 times 30, let's say we just predict him for 30 tonight, that's 27. Now, this isn't the biggest sample size. He's only played 20 total minutes this year with these two other guys and without those three. So it's not like we can just say this is the code that we use to break shit. It's just this is a high indication that he's taking a good amount of shots, about 17 shots per 36 in this situation. I think this is just way too low no matter what for Kobe, to be honest. Against this bum-ass team, like this is just too much. I know he hasn't been playing well. I don't think he's played without these two guys in a full game. Yeah. So without Giddy, hasn't done much without Giddy. That's interesting. What about without Io? I think Io's played every game too. Yeah. So he hasn't played a full game without those two guys. So it's not like we can really look at that. He's been playing like ass lately. That's for damn sure. 4 for 11, 5 for 14. But I mean, 11 to 14 shots. It's not enough, man. It's not enough. Damn, I do not like this low usage. Now, it's the shooting that's been ass for him. The last time they played the Hawks, he also shot like ass, to be honest, but he got to the free throw line, and this is a fast-paced game. So I do think, 18 and a half is gone for him now. So that doesn't even fucking matter. 18 and a half is a really nice number for us for Kobe. Then he's going to have the weaker defender. So I do lean Kobe, honestly, even at 20 plus right now. If we look at Zach LaVine, like I said, he's going to have the harder matchup. That's for damn sure. Man, this is tough. I really thought this was going to be easy pickings for me to just go, oh, yeah, let's take an over for these guys. Let's see. You also got me with Dame and Giannis ruled out. All right. This is going to be a high-scoring game, but let's go to Dame and Giannis real quick. I got waxed by the stupid-ass Bucks last game when they played the Bulls without those two dudes because Bobby couldn't get another point and Chris Middleton couldn't get another assist. That said, now that we have these guys out, as soon as we get these updates, I'm going to be looking at Chris Middleton points and assists. And if that happens before it doesn't happen before the show ends, then just write this down for yourselves. I like Chris Middleton points and assists if we once we get them, because we know Giannis and Dame are out. And I'm going to like Bobby again. I'm going to like Bobby. Anything under 20 and a half points, I'm going to like for him, even though he fucked us last game. So get your shit together, Bobby. Close your eyes a little bit so you're not so fucking beady. Let's get it going. All right. That's what I got for this game when it comes up. And you know good and well that there's no bets going down on Nets players. Let's get back to this one real quick. I wish I had more for this Bulls game. Nothing is really standing out to me, and I hate that. DeAndre Hunter, they finally got too high. Jalen, I mean, there's going to be points in this game, man. That's why these points props are so high, and the boards and everything. I just don't like it.
What about Vooch over 1.5 threes?
That was why I was going back here, is I wanted to see what's up with Vooch. Obviously, this is still just 20 minutes. I don't love the threes there for him. This is probably not going to be helpful to us then in 77 possessions. So Vooch on the threes against the Hawks because they played drop coverage essentially. Yeah, it's minus 160 for him to hit 2. I'm not trying to bank on him hitting 3, to be honest with you. He hit 2 of 5 last game. So if I could feel confident in him taking 5 to 6, I'd be good with it. There's probably not much reason not to. Let's just see if there's anything there with centers against them and their threes for the Hawks. Yeah, most threes given up to the center position because of that drop defense, because Clint doesn't really want to come out that far. He's not going to have Onyeka Okongwu either, who's a much better perimeter defender than is Clint Capella. So I could see it, but it's not worth it for me at the minus 160. That's kind of where I'm at with that. Let me just try to get to at least touch on a few of the final games here. Man, I really don't like this. This is a game where guys are going to need to score off the catch and shoot. I hate betting on the Rockets, man. I really, really do, because they have so many guys that do the same shit, to be honest. I might just need to look at this stuff a little bit more closely. I don't know if Sabonis is in yet. That's one of the dudes you know. And then for this Raptors and Grizzlies game too, man, I don't like the look of the Raptors right now. Oh, I've been waiting for Santi though. I have been waiting for Santi. Let me do it this way. Anything let me make sure I get the people. Anything that we should look at for the people here under these starred comments that you got, David. Anything you want to point me to before I look over them?
There really wasn't anything that stood out, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
I know there were some looks in there, but
yeah. Yeah, all right. I do like the idea of Cunningham over on the assists against Sac. Similar to OKC, actually. For Sac's defense, they play really high ball pressure, and they force the ball out of the point guard's hands as much as possible. I could see Cade getting the 10-plus boards for him in this game. That's a pretty good look. If we look at point guard assists versus the Kings, should be fairly high. Yeah, right in the top 10. They're bottom 10 if you're the defense, limiting point guard assists. So that makes sense too. Beasley is a stud for sure. I know we like Beasley. Now, I don't think we have anybody out for the Pistons that would matter for Beasley. And they don't really play him for some reason as much as they should, which is pretty dumb. Stewart is questionable, but yeah, everybody else is kind of in. I don't know how much Osar has been fucking with the minutes for Malik. He's at 14.5. What's his threes probably at? Yeah, it's 4.5 for even money. Crazy. Against the Kings defense, it does allow a ton to the spot up. They allow a ton of threes. I can see everything that you're saying. I think those are good looks for this game, is like the Cade passing to Malik Beasley kind of thing. Getting those together makes sense. I think Beasley's a good look, and 14.5 points is honestly what's really calling to me for Beasley. Something he's done very consistently this season. Yeah, Beasley's a little bit more underpriced than anything here for this game. 14.5 is still available with its better number than Pinnacle too. So I like that Beasley look. I like Beasley on the points. I'm going to throw him as a lean real quick as we keep trying to just get through as many of these as possible to get to y'all. Let me get Beasley over 14.5 points if you can get that, because that's still available in some spots. That's scrolling on the bottom line. Quick reminder to everybody in here, go ahead and give that video a like. Super appreciative. That goes a long way for me. We have almost had like 950,000 people in here, so we should be getting those likes up, right? We got a lot of y'all in here. Hopefully getting something out of this, and if you are, go ahead and give that a like. Also, quick reminder, we still definitely have all of these left. I haven't checked. We have to have at least some left. If you do want to jump into the VIP, use code SWEEP, since we swept last night on Christmas, and get yourself 50% off the first month if you do want to jump in. Links to everything, description of the video. If you're looking for the tools that I'm using as well, links are in the description of the video. Really strongly recommend checking that out, because a lot of you guys ask me, what should I be using? What are the tools? They're linked in the description of the video. So make sure you check that out so that you don't miss any of that stuff. And you can use this stuff for yourselves. Find these bets once we're not on the show, right? All that good stuff. Yeah, Amin Thompson, another good look from one of the VIP cappers in the Discord. Our boy Jabba the Hutt, also known as Legacy King, also known as Pookie these days. So if you want to tail some of his stuff, he's got some really good looks. I've been pushing people in his direction as well. Let's see here real quick. You gave me 15 plus for Amin. I love Amin. I just once again hate the Rockets because Ime will just play everybody. Now, Amon's been crushing it when he gets into the starting lineup. Last game, they were missing Dylan, and he did really well there, 38 minutes against Charlotte. And now we've got him going up against this team. I can see exactly what you're saying. What were his rebounds against Charlotte? Let me see that real quick. He had 11. Yeah. You give him 38 minutes. God damn. Let's see what he's done in 30 minutes this year. Not as much on the boards. The points, though. Yeah, I think you're right with the over 14.5 points legacy. I could see that for sure. So I'm going to put that on the bottom line as well. Bogey ruled out. Wow. Okay, I really thought he was going to play and eat into DeAndre Hunter, but maybe we have a DeAndre Hunter bet now. I'm putting Amen Thompson on the bottom line as well. I'm going to leave this up scrolling for those of y'all, but I do got to run, unfortunately. So I'm going to put this one in. Amen Thompson over 14.5. I like that better than even adding the rebounds. So that's scrolling on the bottom line as well. Definitely want to check that stuff out. And I will be back tonight with he's playing, right? Yeah, he's definitely playing. Trey's playing for sure. That was the only other thing that I'll say before I dip is that I would strongly consider either Jalen Johnson and or DeAndre Hunter in that Hawks game. Now that we know that Trey is playing and we know Bogey is not playing, we're going to see that stuff kind of start to mix up a little bit, and we'll see some of those things come across. But I like that. Amen Thompson's a great look. I appreciate that legacy for sure. All right. Did I say? Oh, Cody, thanks for reminding me, bro. Yes, my Torontoan. My boy Cody wanted to look at RJ. Thanks for jumping in, bro. I was definitely going to forget. So let's see. Let's look at RJ for 1 sec. I hate looking at this stuff right now against a good defense too, like Memphis. But Memphis sold us last game. They didn't even beat the Clips. RJ, real quick. So you like the boards for RJ, Cody, against the Grizzlies. I'm wondering what you see there. It would be tough for me to kind of pinpoint why the boards would be a good look. Pinnacle doesn't like the over 6.5, something that we pay attention to because Pinnacle is a sharper book than any of the other ones on here. So we got to kind of trust what they're saying a bit more than the other books. 6.5 is kind of a high number. Dude's averaging 6.5 on the season. If we put him, maybe we do this without Pirtle and see what that does for us. Got the 6 against the Knicks on 7 rebound chances. He did have 18 against the Thunder. That's a really, really bad rebounding team. So I see what you're saying. I don't have much for it, to be honest with you. Let's just try it like this real quick. Let's look at Toronto, and this will be the last thing that I do. We'll get on court. We'll get RJ. Let's see. RJ and Scotty. And then off court, I'm going to do Pirtle and IQ because we both know both those dudes are not playing. And what that tells us here for RJ is that he's at about 6.5 boards per 36. It's a decent enough sample. I mean, 86 minutes is not the best, but it's a decent enough sample size to go, I don't know that that's the direction I'm leaning for him with this set of players, to be honest with you. You're going to get a couple other rebounders out there now, not Kelly O, but you'll get some of the Jonathan Mogbo as well. So not my favorite look, Cody, but I mean, look, you're also the Toronto Whisperer, bro. This is your squad. So I'm definitely going to trust you on what you think. But yeah, I can't honestly find an edge there for the RJ rebounds. And I just don't like the look of this game for them against Memphis. Not sure how much Memphis is going to bring it, but they sold last game against the Clippers and I hated it. So I'm kind of out on them for now. Appreciate y'all. I'm going to run, try to get some more plays in for y'all on the VIP. If you are in the Discord, so stay active in there for the next couple hours. As you know, I'm be trying to find these plays for you. And from there, I'll also have a video as soon as I can get it up tonight for the games tomorrow. And we will be back with the show tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, hopefully to get some more bets in there. Maybe I'll have some of this holiday haze off my brain as well. So I'll be a little bit more helpful for y'all. All right. Appreciate you guys. Best of luck tonight. And until I see you next, hopefully tomorrow, happy betting.